Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Friday night edition of the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to check out the programming we have available for you 24/7, 365 on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. And for the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV, we're channel 21 at www.simultv.com. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is Deborah Blake, and she is a Wiccan high priestess and leader of the Celtic group Blue Moon Circle. She manages the Artisans Guild, a non-for-profit artist cooperative shop, and works as a tarot reader and energy healer. She regularly contributes to pagan publications and has an ongoing column in Witches and Pagans. Her website is DeborahBlakeAuthor.com. And Deborah, welcome back to the X-Zone. Great having you with us.
Thank you very much. And that's an eclectic group. That's the word you were looking for.
I thank you for that. And as you and I were discussing before we went to air, this is Friday.
It is. It's definitely Friday.
Listen, tell us a little bit about your new book, The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales, because I am a cat lover.
I am a cat lover too, and that is, of course, part of why I ended up writing a book about cat magic. As you know, I've written 10 other books for Llewellyn,
Yes.
plus a tarot deck, and I have an oracle deck coming out in September. But I have to say, the Little Book of Cat Magic was a real labor of love because I am a huge fan of cats. I have been owned by many in my life. And being able to meld my love of magic with my love of cats was sort of a no-brainer, and I'm not sure why it took me 11 books to think of it.
Well, that's because the cats didn't tell you to write it at that time.
Actually, surprisingly enough, my cats didn't tell me to write it. My editor told me to write it. My Llewellyn editor was the one who came up with the idea in the first place, so she gets all the credit and or blame depending on how you like the book.
So we say that she gets all the meows or the purrs.
Exactly.
And I can see a cat.
Yes, that is Koshka. Koshka is one of my new guys. Let me see if I can. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Say hi, Koshka.
What a beautiful cat.
Yeah, he's a big fuzzball. He's I mean, he's a rescue, so we don't know exactly what he is. He and his sister came from a 25 cat hoarding situation, so they could be just about anything. But he has all the traits of either a Maine Coon cat or a Norwegian forest cat. He's, I'm sure, not a purebred anything, but he's got, like the tufts of fur,
right,
and a big poofy tail, and lots of personality. The brain thing, we're still a little on the fence about that.
Well, you're talking about rescues and hoardings. One of the positions I held on a contract basis was the director of communications for the SPCA. And I went out with a number of the inspectors on hoarding cases. And I must tell you that God bless those little kittens when they come out of the homes, and the number of cats that are rescued on hoarding cases. And my wife and I adopted 2 of them. They were ragdoll cats, big, little.
Oh my God, they're adorable.
Little kittens, but they grew into big, big cats. And instead of running away from our dog, they go, here, doggy, doggy, doggy.
You know what? I believe it. Yeah. Koshka's not afraid of much. He's just a big mush. He's sort of funny because he's so poofy and he looks gigantic, and then you go pick him up and you're like, wow, this cat weighs nothing. It's all fur.
Yeah.
All fur. So yeah, that's my boy, and I have his sister Ember, who does not look that big and poofy. And then I got another rescue cat from a different organization whose name is Harry Dresden, because unfortunately I lost Magic the cat, who was my familiar and who co-wrote this book. She had,
I'm sorry to hear that.
She had her 2 cents. Yes, I lost her and her brother Mystic within 8 days, the January before last, which was pretty wretched, as you can imagine. And losing a cat is bad. Losing your familiar and the cat that slept by your head for almost 16 years. Yeah. Horrible.
It is.
And I got down to Angus, who was the last of my old batch, and I said, 1 cat? No, we cannot have 1 cat in this house. So I immediately got 3 more, because they were going to kick me out of the Crazy Cat Lady Union. It was horrible.
Well, we couldn't have that. If I would have known that, I would have sent you some cats.
Well, I had many people volunteering to send me cats. Finding cats, alas, is not a problem. But yeah, so we're back up to 4. Now, none of these guys is showing any interest in magic the way Magic the Cat did. Maybe I didn't name them correctly. But yet they're still cats and they're still wonderful.
Excellent. Once again, my hat is off to you for your compassion, and anyone who brings a member into their family from any shelter, they are truly blessed people.
Well, every cat I've ever had has been a rescue of one kind or another. Mostly from shelters, occasionally like feral barn cats. But yeah, I am a big fan of bringing cats in who have no place else to go. We had, when I was married 1,000 years ago, somebody dropped 2 kittens across the street from our house. we brought them in overnight so we could take them to the shelter in the morning, and guess what?
Yeah, they never
We didn't
left.
take them to the shelter. No. I don't know why I thought we would.
Well, they found shelter in your home and in your love.
And they were great cats.
Yeah.
They were great cats. There has never been a cat that I took in that I wasn't, very grateful to have share my life. So, yeah, they keep me, I won't say sane, because that might be a slight exaggeration. They keep me as sane as I am. Let's put it that way.
I love it. Speaking about cats, can you tell us a little bit about your new book?
Sure. It's little, and it's a book. It's about cats. I'm sorry, you want more detail than that?
I'd appreciate it.
So it's actually got a whole lot of different things in it besides magic. I mean, there are spells. There are spells for all sorts of practical issues that you would deal with cats, like keeping them safe or, helping them adjust to a move or a new kitty.
Mm-hmm.
There are spells for finding the right new cat, that sort of thing. But there's also some cat history, which sounds like it would be boring, but it's about cats, so of course it's not. Basically their history throughout different cultures. There's some mythology. There's some stories. There's in the various bits and pieces of the book are little quotes from people. This is my favorite one from Terry Pratchett, which is, "Thousands of years ago, cats were worshipped as gods. Cats have never forgotten this." So there's things like that. There's even a few little recipes for the cats, not for you, for like treats and things, and a few craft projects, sort of a little bit of everything.
Does your book turn non-cat lovers into cat lovers? Like, did you put a magic spell on there since you're a Wiccan?
No, because that would interfere with free will, and I follow the kind of witchcraft where you're not supposed to do that. No, those people, I just, put cute cats on their lap until they succumb. I have had a number of cats, and the occasional person who said, "Oh, I'm really not into cats," and if they spend enough time with cats, pretty decent cats, they usually are won over. I have a friend of mine who used to tease me about how many cats I had, and then he moved out of town, and now he has 2 cats. So they get you one way or the other. They get you. I don't have to put spells on people.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Cats do that all by themselves. Cats have their very own magic. Cats are extremely magic even without the witchcraft aspect.
Well, let's talk about that when we come back from this break. And X Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Deborah Blake. Her website is DeborahBlakeAuthor.com. We're talking to Deborah tonight about her new book entitled The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. And Deborah and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Deborah Blake is our special guest, and we're talking about her new book, The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. Now, this is a wonderful and witchy book that is filled with a wide variety of spells, charms, and recipes that you can use to improve the lives of both you and your feline friends. From finding and naming a new cat to working with a cat as a familiar, The Little Book of Cat Magic has something for everyone who loves cats and magic. You can learn about cats through history and myths, folklore, deities associated with them, explore spells for living with the cats. Hopefully they're all living. Improving their health and saying goodbye when their 9 lives have run their course. Once again, her website is www.deborahblakeauthor.com. Deborah, where did the idea that cats have 9 lives come from?
Well, there's some mythology to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trick question because it's in my book and I don't remember where. I know it's like in the lore thing.
It's in between the covers, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere in this fabulous book. Well, you have to understand that by the time the book hits the bookshelves, I wrote it like 2.5 years ago. So, while I do sit down and reread it, every other day, I haven't got it memorized.
This is starting to sound like the Senate hearing the other day with Attorney General Barr.
I cannot remember.
Yeah.
I cannot recall. Yeah, I can sit here and tell you I cannot recall for ages. I'd make a great politician because I don't remember anything. So I don't know. I don't remember that. I cannot recall. It's somewhere in the book. You have to read the book to find out. That's
an excellent way of putting it. Now,
I mean, do you know? Did you read the book? Do you remember the answer?
I do, but if I was to tell the listeners what the answer is, then I would be.
You think that would be cheating?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what page it's on so I can look it up?
Well, I will give you a hint. How's that? It's
okay.
It's in between page 1 and let me see, page 215.
That's a little less helpful than you probably thought it was. No, wait. On the other hand, it's exactly as helpful as you thought it was. This is why I keep coming back to this show, because you're so helpful.
I know. What do you mean I'm supposed to help her across the street? Okay. Yeah. Listen, black cats and witches seem to go hand in hand. Why just black cats? Where did they get the bum rap from?
Well, first of all, it's not a bum rap to be associated with witches.
No. I mean for the black cats. Like, don't white cats work?
It's because, when Christianity came into Europe,
Oh, boy.
well, first of all, they messed with a lot of things, but cats were one of them. In all of the societies before that, cats were revered. If you went to Egypt, for instance, they were worshipped, and Bastet, who's the goddess most associated with them, actually her followers buried their cats mummified in her temples, and it was against the law to kill a cat.
Wow.
Which, yeah, it was pretty cool. And, if you went to Japan and China and, all sorts of other places, they were revered. The problem was when the Christian church moved into Europe, and they were essentially trying to boot the pagans out because the pagans had power and they wanted the power. It had very little to do with religion per se. It was more politics and a power play. But some of the people who had influence were these older wise women in various communities who, we would call witches. They were the herbalists, they were the wise women, they were the people who passed down the lore, and they got a bad rap. And cats, almost everybody had cats back then because they used them for like rodent control. And the church came in and basically said, black stands for evil, therefore these cats, which are sort of, mysterious and creepy, if they're black, they must be evil.
Well,
We're going to kill them all.
Let me ask you a question here. If black is evil, why do priests and ministers wear black shirts?
I got no answer to that.
Okay.
I mean, for one thing, I grew up Jewish, so it's really outside of I don't know.
But that's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, tis a puzzlement. It does make a lot of sense. But yeah, cats in general got a bad rap, in part because they were sort of associated with women, and women in general,
right.
Not just witches, but women in general got a bad rap. We went from being a matriarchal society to being not so much. But yeah, the black cats really got it. And of course, one of the things that happened was they killed off a lot of cats.
Oh, no.
The Egyptians would not have approved. And that was part of what led to the bubonic plague, to, ironically, the Black Death, because the cats were keeping down the rodent population. Without the cats to do that,
right.
The rodent population spread and the disease spread, and, well, lots of people died. So the lesson here is black cats are cool, get more cats.
All right, I agree with that. People should have more cats.
Yes, more cats.
Yeah. But what is the association of cats with witches? Is that a fact? Is there a reason why a cat is associated with a witch or a woman or a pagan?
Well, there is this historical connection. I don't know where it started. It certainly has been so pervasive. There must be some root to it.
Right.
I mean, certainly, lots of women had cats. Lots of people had cats. And cats have been familiars for a very long time because they seem to lend themselves to that. I mean, dogs can be familiars. I know people who have snakes as familiars. But the truth is, when you want something sort of mysterious and connected to the aspects of life in the universe that you can't necessarily easily connect with, that's a cat.
What are some of the myths and folklore about cats?
Well,
Chapter 2.
Yeah. Look at him.
Fascinating facts, page 18.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, I mean, there are all sorts of. One of my favorite myths, actually, or pieces of folklore, I guess it's not a myth, is in Persia, the Prophet Muhammad, who, of course, is quite famous, was said to love cats so much that when his favorite cat fell asleep on the sleeve of his robe, he actually cut the sleeve off the robe rather than disturb the cat. And speaking as someone who has, been sitting in a chair with a cat on her lap and not gotten up to do the 40,000 things she meant to do, including go to the bathroom,
right.
Because she did not want to disturb the cat, I believe that one. Another fun one is that in China, there's a myth that cats were there at the beginning of the world, which of course they were, and the Japanese saw them as guardians, which of course they are. And actually they're considered to be good luck. If you go into pretty much every Chinese restaurant you've ever been in, you'll see this cat with an upraised paw. Yeah. And that's a good luck cat. I have a little statue actually that my Llewellyn editor sent me that has this, it's like a bobblehead of the little good luck cat. And I have it right by my computer. And every time I see a story on the news that I don't like, I just bobble it up and down.
Yeah. I over here, a couple of the Chinese restaurants, as well as the other properties, retailers who are Chinese, their cats are kind of, they have a battery and the paw goes up and down.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and we don't have one that does that here. They just have pictures of them, but yeah, it's a thing.
I'll tell you what, if I find one, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
All right. What else can you tell us about cats that will just put our total worldwide audience in awe?
Well, I have a list of really cool facts.
Okay.
It's here's a weird one. Cats cannot taste sweet. I don't know how they know that.
No, it depends how much sauce you put on them.
All right, no more for you. No more sauce for you, mister.
That was kind of saucy of me, wasn't it? All right, now I got to segue to I've got to take a commercial break. Stand by. When we come back, more amazing facts. And I'm sure I'm going to get some email from the cat lovers about my sauce joke. But I'll tell you what, when we come back, I'm going to tell you a real story on why I love cats. Exonation, our guest this hour is Deborah Blake, and her website is deborahblakeauthor.com, and she's the author of a great little book of cat magic, spells, charms, and tales. And we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, They conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Exonation Deborah Blake is our special guest. She is the author of The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. And her website is www.deborahblakeauthor.com. And I'd like to thank Kat Sanborn at Llewellyn for helping make this interview possible tonight. I'm going to tell you and share with the Exonation, Deborah, how one of the two ragdoll cats that we adopted from the SPCA saved my life. Really. As the kittens got older, I was adopted by Frank to be his human. Now, Frank was the male. And Frank would come, and when I was doing my show, our first studio was part of our home. We converted a couple of rooms into the radio studios. And he would come and sit on the back of my chair while I was doing the show. At the time, we weren't doing TV at the same time. He kept on coming on the back of the chair, but then he started crawling closer around my neck. And he kept on paying attention to one part of my neck. And this was continuous over a couple of weeks. Well, I decided, after speaking to somebody who was very familiar with cats, to go see a doctor. Because the cat was nudging one spot on my neck. Well, just to find out, the doctors did the necessary tests, and it was with a CAT scan that they found a tumor that was starting to grow on my artery in my throat, in my neck. Yeah, and they told me that it was very lucky and fortunate that they found it when they did. So thanks to Frank.
Yay, Frank!
And I.
Well, you know, that is in the book that cats have been known to smell out cancer. Yeah. And in fact, you know, as you said, I run a shop called the Artisans Guild. And my friend Ellie, who runs it with me, we started it together. Mm-hmm. Her husband was diagnosed at this point a number of years ago with a really bad brain tumor on his brainstem. And their cat had been licking at that spot for months. He unfortunately did not realize that meant he should go to see a doctor. Mm-hmm. But when, in fact, you know, he was diagnosed, they sort of looked at each other and went, damn, the cat's been trying to tell us for months that there was a problem there. Yeah. So, it's remarkable what cats can sense.
It is, and they're very smart. Like, you know, I used to call Frank, and he'd come running. And I'd say, go get your ball. And he had a little furry ball, and he'd go get it, and he was like a dog.
Oh, yeah, well,
except a lot cleaner.
The cat that's sleeping up there, he will actually do fetch. His favorite toy, which is this sort of long tube filled with it's fur and it has, or cloth and it has catnip in it, and
Right.
there's some strings on it. And he, especially when he was younger, or when I got him, he and his sister were probably 5 months old, thereabouts. Again, hoarding, they don't really know. But he would walk around with that thing in his mouth, and he would come and he would drop it by my feet, and I'd toss it, and he'd bring it back. And every morning when I wake up by my bed, there is at least one toy, sometimes two, if apparently he's in a mood. And this is, I think he's like, get out of bed, come play with me, come play with me. But yeah, they can be very smart. Magic the cat, Queen of the Universe, that was her whole title, and she wanted you to use it. She was so smart that I basically, I never got my way on anything, because she was the boss of me. And she knew perfectly well what the rules were. Mm-hmm. She just didn't think they applied to her. You'd walk in and find her on the counter and say, hey, no cats are allowed on the counter. And she'd look at you like, yeah, and your point? Because as far as she was concerned, she was not just a cat.
She was the queen.
She was the queen. Yeah.
In your book, you have a section on naming, cat naming, and finding a new cat. What is the best way when you get a new cat, or you go to your local rescue and adopt a cat? What's the best way to find the proper name that would go with the new addition to the family?
Sometimes they tell you. I mean, sometimes you just know. With Magic and her brother Mystic, I would sort of try out names. Magic was black and her brother Mystic was gray. So I tried, like Onyx and Agate, and they just looked at me like, what? And when I came up with Magic and Mystic, they sort of looked at me like, yeah, all right, that works. That's fine. Some people believe that the cat will whisper their name in your ear in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. I think probably they're more likely to be whispering, get up and feed me. But yeah, you can usually, get a sense of it. Sometimes, you just name them what seems right to you. And, they decide whether they want to respond to that or not.
Like most children. Yeah.
Or significant others.
Hey, that was a dig at us guys.
No, I specifically did not put a gender on that at all.
All right,
anybody.
Okay, I got you off that hook. You're welcome. Spells for finding a new cat. All right, what kind of spell would you kind of stir up?
Well, obviously you can just go to the shelter and look at all the cats and try and find the one that seems right to you. If you want a little help being led to the right cat, I don't know about where everybody else lives. Where I am, we have a few shelters, plus a local rescue organization, plus, of course, cats sometimes just show up. So if you want a little help from the universe to be led to exactly the right cat, then you can try doing this spell in the hopes that, in fact, you'll get sort of a push in the right direction. And it's very simple. Most of my spells are pretty simple. I can read it. You want me to read it?
Yep, you found the page. Okay, good.
And what I usually suggest is that you use some tools that are associated with whatever it is you're trying to do. So you might want to take, a couple of bowls, fill one with water, fill one with food, as if the cat were already there, maybe like a catnip toy or mouse or something. If you have a statue of Bast, you can call on Bast to help you. And then I suggest you light a white candle to symbolize the beacon you wish to guide your cat to you, even if you have to go out and find it. And then say, God and Goddess, send to me the perfect feline company, a cat to feed and love and hold, a kitten tender or adult bold. Send the cat will suit me best and stand alone from all the rest. Help me find the cat that's mine with a guidance that's divine. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. I call you home. Oh, crap. I just did a spell to get another cat. You tricked me, Rob. Rob, you tricked me. What were you doing? Oh, crap.
I was just helping you get that other cat that you really wanted.
You know, I didn't even think about that before I read that out loud. That's so... Well, you know, I used to have 5 and I'm down to 4 now, so we'll see what happens.
You need that 5th cat. There's no two ways about it.
Well, you know, I had actually told the local rescue that if they got a mother cat who needed a place to give birth to her kittens, you know, because they've been looking for fosters for kittens. And I said, no, I can't do that. I'll just keep them all. But I said, you know, if you have a mama cat that needs a safe space, because when I adopted Magic and Mystic, I also adopted their mother. Yes, I went to the shelter for 1 kitten. Didn't work out that way. But, you know, she was a terrified cat that had been basically dumped by her people when she got pregnant. And she had to give birth in a cage in a shelter. And I thought, well, you know, in their name, if I can save some other cat from that. But now I'm pretty sure that cat's going to show up pretty soon. Thanks a lot, Rob.
Hey, what are friends for?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Now you have to recite the spell so you can get another cat, too.
We've got to go to a commercial break right now. Listen, I love cats. That's no secret. But we lost Frankie. He passed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then his brother passed on my birthday.
Oh, that just
about
sucks.
10 years ago. So, you know, as much as I love cats, we also have 3 little dogs. We have a Shih Tzu, we have a Shih Tzu, and we have some other kind. I don't know what it is. My wife knows all this.
Those little dogs, they're just like cats in disguise. I swear.
You're so right. You know, like I'm a small guy. I'm 6'5", and I come in at 240 pounds.
You have these little miniature dogs.
And I proudly go down the street of our neighborhood with these little dogs. I'm comfortable with who I am. They're just
good.
Little dogs, and you know what? We have 6 real children. We have 12 real
they do
grandchildren.
Take up a fair amount of room.
And you know what? I'll take the dogs any day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You and I have to take our break. Please stand by. Exonation, our very special guest this hour, and a perfect guest for a Friday evening, is Deborah Blake. And her website is deborahblakeauthor.com, and the name of her newest book is let's try this again. The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. And we'll be back on the other side of this short break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Llewellyn, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
Christopher Fulton is a survivor of the national security state. All he wanted to do was preserve history when he acquired a Cartier watch from the estate of President Kennedy's personal secretary. But that simple act set off a terrible chain reaction. He was pursued by the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI, thrust into the middle of the U.S. government's Assassination Records Review Board, even monitored and pursued by the Russian government. All because that Cartier watch was the missing link of evidence, a timepiece worn by JFK that fateful day in Dallas, a link resulting in Christopher being incarcerated and attacked for 9 years inheritance because he opened a hidden chapter in history. The intriguing journey outlined fully in Christopher Fulton's memoir, The Inheritance, is available now through TrineDay.com or Amazon.com. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination by Christopher and Michelle Fulton is a must-read, an incredible tale of how easily our own government can overrule justice. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination.
And welcome back, everyone. Deborah Blake is our special guest. Her website is deborahblakeauthor.com, and she's the author of a real super little book for cat lovers. And the name of the book is The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. And I must tell you that I received a copy of the book from our friends at Llewellyn, and it's a cool book. It's easy to read. It has some poems. It has facts. It has spells. If you're a cat lover, or if you know a cat lover, this would be the perfect book for you. Once again, www.deborahblakeauthor.com. Deborah, as always, great having you with us. Thank you so much for sharing your new book with us. But, you know, you and I have been talking about the wonderful things about cats. People become very attached to their cats. And
you ain't kidding.
How do we best deal with the loss?
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. I've lost 4 cats in the last 3 years, so I've had a lot of practice. And I lost, my soulmate Magic a year ago, last January, followed 8 days later by her brother. I mean, they had both been sick, and I swear he was just hanging on to beat his sister. That was like the only reason he was still alive, was he was not going to let her win. But it's really hard. One of the things for me is that, I just try and be really grateful that I had them for the time that I did. The problem with having animals of any kind, cats or dogs, is that unless you get hit by a bus, you are probably going to outlive them. And so, there is that, you have to sort of put your mind to it. I also did, I wrote a spell to ease a cat's passing to, help the transition. And there's a little ritual to help let the cat go, and a little meditation for letting go of grief, which, I will say from my own personal experience, it's helpful. Really, the only thing that helps is time. And yeah, that gratitude that you had them. Although in my particular case, Miss Magic is pretty much, you can't see her. She's still sitting right there. That was her spot. And I feel her there often. I sometimes go to sort of automatically pet her, and I'm surprised she's physically not there. Right. But yeah, it's a tough thing, and the best you can do is you can use some of this stuff in the book, but I think gratitude for their presence in the first place, and then go get more cats or
that's
dogs
right.
or whatever.
As a tarot card reader, do you use a tarot deck that is dedicated to cats?
I wrote a tarot deck, and there are a lot of cats in it. If I'd realized we were going to talk about it, I would have brought a copy over. But yeah, I have the Everyday Witch Tarot, which came out a year and a half ago or so. And there are some dogs in it too, but there are a lot of cats in it. I own a tarot deck that has cats in it. I don't use it for reading. I mostly use it for pretty and for looking at the cool cats. There are some very neat cat decks out there, but the Everyday Witch one has a lot of cats in the pictures. Elizabeth Alba was my illustrator, and she did a really fabulous job. And in fact, she put Magic the Cat in there and some of my other cats. And her dog Rayo makes an appearance as well.
In your book, you talk about a cat footprint for remembrance. That's a wonderful idea.
My vets did that for me. It wasn't something that I would have thought of myself, but when I brought Magic and then 8 days later her brother Mystic, they asked me if I wanted them to do that. And what they do is they take a little piece of, it turns into sort of, concrete or whatever.
Right.
But they press the kitty's paw in it, and so you have this little paw print.
Wow.
Or in Mystic's case, Mystic was gigantic, so in his case, it was a very big paw print. I brought their ashes home with me, and Mystic, Magic and her mother were in these tiny little boxes, and Mystic they had to use a small dog box for, because he was just this, even having lost all the weight when he was ill in the last months of his life, he was just a huge cat.
Really?
He was probably bigger than your little Shih Tzu.
Wow.
Yeah, he weighed about 17, 18 pounds. When he came, I live in a rickety old farmhouse, and when he would come down the stairs, the whole house would shake. Although some of that might be the house. Yeah, it was just thump, 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 thump. So, yeah, and there are other things that you can do. I clipped a little bit of fur and put that in a box. I did with these particular cats. When I sent them out to be cremated, I got their ashes back. I haven't always done that. These cats, I didn't have a lot of choice. They were like, nope, we're coming home. But you can also, I have thousands of pictures. The very helpful Facebook is always saying, oh, remember this picture? It's like, yes, that's my cat that died. Thank you so much. That's lovely. But it mostly makes me happy.
Also in your book, you have something called a charmed bell for your cat's protection.
Well, you can charm anything. A bell is easy. If you have a cat that wears a collar, my cats that I have now don't, because they all stay inside. I'm a big fan of indoor cats for a lot of reasons, but I did used to have cats that went outside. And if you have a cat that has a collar, you can put a little bell on it and do some magical work on the bell to keep them safe. There's also a spell for keeping cats that go outside safe. Where I live, I've got coyotes in the hills and foxes and hawks and owls, and a road that people drive down like craziness. So my guys don't actually go out, which is nice, because in the middle of the night when you hear a horrible noise, you don't have to sit up and go 1, 2, 3, crap, where's the other one? But yeah, so there are spells for keeping them safe, and there are spells for keeping them healthy, and also for trying to help them heal. If they are ill. That sort of things. There's spells for finding a lost cat if a cat gets out and you don't know where they are. All sorts of. What I did was, when I sat down to write this, I wanted practical things. I'm a very practical witch. Which is not to say that I don't have spiritual things going on, but it mostly, I call myself the Everyday Witch. My books are, the Everyday Witch, A to Z, things like that, because it's all about integrating my spiritual beliefs as a witch and a pagan with my everyday life. And I just do that with the cat things too, is, what spells do I wish I'd had 10 years ago, before I thought about doing this book?
We've got about 2 minutes left. What can you tell us about channeling your inner cat?
Oh, well, cats can teach us a lot of things if we're paying attention. They're great at napping, which, I'm a big fan of napping.
Me too.
But one of the things that they do is when they need to rest, they rest. And as human beings, we kind of suck at that.
Yeah.
And they play. We also often forget to play. Having 3 youngish cats, they're all about a year old, these 3, and they play all the time, and they've actually encouraged my older cat, Angus, who's 13. He's playing more than he has played in years, because the kittens are reminding him to do that. And cats can remind us of the need to play and to spend time, embracing life. Because cats are nothing if not 100% full on into whatever they're into at the time.
So what is your next project?
I'm actually working on a book for St. Martin's Press. It's called The Witches Primer, a goddess empowerment book for the kick-ass woman, which I'm having a lot of fun with, because, women can use a little help being kick-ass these days, and if a goddess can't help you do that, I don't know who can. So there's that, and I'm still working on my fiction writing career, writing my Baba Yaga novels about, witches, being, bossed around by cats.
Well, as you know, you always have an open invitation here. We love.
Thank you. I have an oracle deck coming out in September, so I might take you up on that.
No, you're not going to take me. You're not going to take me up on that. You are going to take me up on that.
Yes, sir.
Because I love talking to you. I love your energy. You are a super lady. And I just want to thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. And I hope that you have much success in your life because you deserve it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
All right, you take care of yourself, Deborah. And X-Zone Nation, if you'd like to find out more about our guest this hour, Deborah Blake, visit her website, www.deborahblakeauthor.com. The name of the book that we've been talking about this hour, in case it hasn't caught on yet, The Little Book of Cat Magic, Spells, Charms, and Tales. I'll be back on the other side of this news break on most of our affiliates. If not, and your network is going to be changing because of the different time zones at whatever part of the world you're in. Thank you for joining us. And as I always say at the end of every show, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand, live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.